What's going on? Look, I was just talking to a friend about starting a music studio and why it could be a great idea, right? So then I just decided to just jump on, because I hadn't been on in a very long time, and talk to you about that. You feel what I'm saying? So peep this. This is Studio Life 10X. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I haven't released a video in a very long time. So, hey, it is what it is. But hey, if you rocking with me, you rocking with me. If not, hey, it is what it is. Now peep this. I strongly believe that if you love music, then starting a music studio is a great idea, because it's not just building a space, with microphones and just some soundproof walls. It's an investment in your own creativity. It's an investment in culture. It's an investment in the commerce in your local area. It's a hub for musicians, producers, and if you love business, then you can put yourself in a position where you are communicating with other entrepreneurs. You feel what I'm saying? I'm telling you, a music studio is a very great idea, because there's a lot of people who they feel like they want to, express themselves. You got what I'm saying? And music gives an artist artistic freedom. Now, of course, it's a great financial opportunity too, you know what I'm saying? And I say that because we're living in a time where music is a rapidly changing landscape. It's consistently changing. Things are being modified. Things are getting better and better and better. Oh man, you have no idea. But owning a studio, at one point in time, it used to be out of this world for you to do it. If you knew somebody that owned a studio or had studio pieces, oh my God, that was just awesome. It was like, wow. And if you had the money to get studio time, man, you were so blessed, because I remember the sound gate, the chain of custody for music. Like you had to have a EQ, and then that had to be connected to a compressor, and that compressor had to be connected to a synthesizer, and that synthesizer had to be connected to a voice amplifier. You got what I'm saying? Like, and then that had to be connected to like a CDJ, and then that had to be connected to maybe an MP3 player. It's like it was a complete chain of custody that I'm telling you, that signal flow or that signal chain, it was so many different pieces of technology merged and married together just so that you could create that sound. Man, it was a very difficult process, especially when you had to troubleshoot. Oh my God, it was crazy. And then technology changed, technology shifted, and it made it so much easier. You got what I'm saying? So at this point in time, with technology being so great, you no longer have to rely on a professional studio. You have access to the technology. You can create the professional studio. There's a demand for audio content right now, and I think that is the most intelligent move. Create a studio. It don't have to be just a music studio. It can be a music studio. It could be a voiceover studio. It could also be a podcast studio. It's so, you can use podcast studio to help poets give their poetry to the world. It's so many different things that you can do, but I'm telling you, I think that a music studio is a great investment. All you got to do is have the vision, the skill, and the hustle. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because right now, audio is booming. Look, we live in a sound-driven time. This era is is driven by nothing but sound, and music production is not just for artists. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, it's for poets. It's for people recording any type of album. podcasts, YouTube channels, commercials, independent films, video games, online courses. All of these things that I just named need high quality audio. And if you love music, then you the SME. That means you are the subject matter expert in that field. Content creators are everywhere. So content creators, if you don't know, they are consistently and constantly looking for reliable places to record, mix, and master their material. So if you start a music stereo, I'm telling you, you're going to be tapping into the wave. You feel what I'm saying? I'm telling you. And then, if you look everywhere, you see nothing but streaming services. And these streaming services right now have made it easier for independent musicians to release their music without needing this record label, without needing this A&R, without needing this promotion and marketing strategist. All you got to do is have the talent, the skill, the determination, the willingness to learn. You feel what I'm saying? Come on, man. I'm telling you, man, you can distribute your music so easy nowadays, man. So easy. So since you can do that, don't skimp out on quality, because quality is very, very important. If you produce a great sounding track, then that track is going to stand out. You feel what I'm saying? So since that track is going to stand out, then that's going to increase your chance of success. So basically, have a studio, man. Set this studio thing up. Dedicate your life to the full-time studio grind. You feel what I'm saying? And reach out to a lot of professionals, because if you own a studio, you can create a professional environment for these artists to record their music. And that's what they need. They need that more than anything. You feel what I'm saying? And if you start your own business, then what happens is it gives you creative control. It gives you the freedom of movement. Because so far what I have experienced, one of the biggest advantages of starting your own studio is just having control over your own time. You feel what I'm saying? Oh man. And just having like creative autonomy. You know what I'm saying? So if you're like a producer or a musician, I'm telling you, if you got your own studio, then you don't gotta rent time from somebody else. You don't gotta wait in line. You don't gotta be rushing to meet somebody else's deadline. You feel what I'm saying? You can work. Your mojo is your mojo. So you just work your mojo. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Because, at different times at night, different times of the day, inspiration might hit you. You feel what I'm saying? And if you already doing what you're supposed to be doing, whenever inspiration hits, then guess what? You don't have the pressure. You can just kind of fine tune your sound so that you can sound exactly how you want to sound. And then you perfectly perfect and craft that specific sound so that nobody else sounds like you. You feel what I'm saying? I'm telling you. And it's nothing like having that creative control over your environment from the gear that you choose. You can choose different things. You don't got to just have like an MPC. You got what I'm saying? You can merge so many different things. In my home studio, because I'm in my home studio right now, or I'm in one of my home studios, and I don't know if you know this, but I take an app called Omnisphere. I take sounds from Omnisphere. I take sounds from my Native Instruments controller, and also take sounds from the MPC, and I merge those sounds. So I just pull different libraries whether I'm oversampling or I'm just kind of stretching something out, or I'm getting ready to like chop a drum. Man, like it's so many different things that you can do. And my point is, you control the environment, you choose the gear that you got, right? And then you can create something that nobody even thinking about. You feel what I'm saying? And basically that kind of shapes this space, and you doing whatever you feel right. You got what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So I'm just getting on right now, you know what I'm saying, just to encourage you. Dedicate yourself to a full-time studio grind. It gives you a lot of creative freedom. And, you know, it's a great situation, and it runs the risk of generating profit. You heard that right. That's right. The potential for profit is out of this world, because if you run a well-groomed studio with a solid plan, look, nothing will beat you at doing what you're doing. You got what I'm saying? Because look, the great thing about having a studio is once you're invested in the gear and you built out that space, your overhead is super low. Especially if you working solo, dolo, or you got a small team. Look, you charge in recording time. You can charge for mixing. You can charge for mastering. You could even turn it into a video podcast situation where you charging for the shorts and charging for the video. You got what I'm saying? You charging for the engineering. You doing voiceover work. And guess what? You charging for that. You renting out the space. You charging for that. You may even be shooting videos. You know what I'm saying? You grab a Sony ZV-E10 or maybe a FX3 or FX30 and you just get it cracking. You got what I'm just saying? There's so many different ways that you can get to the bag, and your reputation is going to grow in a positive way, right? So as your reputation is growing and you just building yourself up, guess what happens? Your ability to charge that premium price, baby. You know what I'm saying? You can diversify your portfolio. You dig what I'm saying? So a lot of studio owners, they basically try to diversify what they doing. They sell beats, right? Then they do online production. They do education workshops. I'm telling you, if you play your cards right, you can support yourself financially and fuel your creative dreams. You feel what I'm saying? And most importantly, you are building your own brand. You can build a collective network of individuals who are doing great things. You feel what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, man. You can do this. You know what I'm saying? You can do this. But what I don't want you to do is limit yourself. Your studio is not just a room with a mic. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you just have one audio interface, a microphone, some software. You are a brand, and that brand can become a hub, and you can support local talent, and you can get recognized by your brand, and you will be recognized as a person that's making some great moves in the local scene. And I'm telling you, that gives you a lot of respect. You got me? Because you can work with so many different types of artists. And once you work with a range of artists and creators, you're building a portfolio. You're basically building a network of individuals. And I'm telling you, it is power in creating relationships, because relationships open up opportunities. It open up situations where you can do collaborations, label deals, licensing, so many different things. You got me? And I'm telling you, if you're moving how you're supposed to move, and of course you're going to be moving how you're supposed to move, then the word of mouth is going to be traveling super fast. You feel what I'm saying? Because you are spearheading a creative community. And if you are consistently delivering great results and a positive experience for people, man, they gonna return and they gonna tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. And you're not even gonna have to be on YouTube. You don't understand that I call what I was just in a conversation with my friend. What did I tell? I said, you don't have to become a YouTubian struggle streamer. You got what I'm saying? It's a lot of YouTube struggle streamers out here. You feel what I'm saying? Look, your studio can become a place where people go to catch a vibe, not just record. They want to get inspired, and you're that inspiration. So I want to encourage you, develop your skills, because if you're trying to be successful at running a business, especially as it applies to this studio stuff, oh man, look, running a studio forces you to become a better person. It forces you to put yourself in a position where you're going to have to improve your chops. You're going to have to deepen your understanding of sound. You're going to have to understand sound theory for real. And you're going to have to learn to navigate all kinds of clients. And woo, clients have different personalities. They got different challenges in their own life. And then you got to deal with all of that in the creative space. So you're going to learn business skills. You're going to learn pricing, marketing, customer service, scheduling, budgeting. It's so many different skills that you're not even going to understand that you know until you know. Do you feel what I'm saying? Look, as time progresses, right? Time going to be moving on. And you're going to be like, oh, snap. I think I got this. You're going to turn into an individual that is so versatile, so mentally agile that you are totally valuable. So it don't matter what happens. It don't matter what life throw at you. You'll be able to pivot. You'll be able to kind of transition from this role to this role. One day you're going to be working as a label head, and the next day you're going to be working as a production company. Look, your studio experience gives you a proper foundation to handle any situation. I'm talking about real world situations, man. A studio is your training grounds. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, you can do this. And it's very, very different. I know if I can do it, I know you can do it. And it's challenging, but it's very flexible. And it's very scalable. I'm telling you, the flexibility and the scalability is out of this world. That's the major perk of running a studio. That flexibility. You can start. Because look, I started with a single room, right? So then I mastered doing what I'm supposed to do. And I was creating different scenarios in my mind. So then I moved into an actual building that I leased, right? So now I start leasing that, you know what I'm saying? Because after my little single room home setup, you know, hey, people coming over to the crib, people that I trust, okay, cool. But then I say, you know what? I'm trying to take it to a whole nother level. You feel what I'm saying? So then I said, okay, we got to branch out. Most of the successful studios in this whole world started in a basement, started in a bedroom, started in a garage. And then as your clientele increase, guess what? You on a whole different level. So your money go up. You feel what I'm saying? And once you move out of your home studio and you move into an actual building, the income starts to stabilize. And then you start upgrading your equipment. You got what I'm saying? You get the great acoustically inclined environment. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, there's nothing like your own commercial space. You feel what I'm saying? But my point behind bringing it up is that there's always room to scale your services. You feel me? So peep this. I hired an engineer, right? Now, before I had hired this engineer, I was looking for freelance engineers. So then Boom, we hired an engineer. And then we started looking for freelance producers. And we start partnering with video creators, right? And we started offering a bundled media package, right? And a part of that music media package was mixing and mastering whatever that track. And it was like 5 songs. So that artist would come in, do 5 songs. He or she would have an engineer. They would have 5 pieces of content, actual content, actual songs, and it was bundled with that engineer. You got what I'm saying? So it's so many. I'm just giving you a small example, but what I'm saying is there's so many different ways that you can add value to an artist's life while also adding value to your own business and your own product. You got me? And your studio will grow. And it's growing on your own terms. Ain't nobody else dictating what you're going to do. And then once you put yourself in a great space, then what you can start doing, you start expanding. Got a studio there. Okay, you got that building. Okay, you making about $7,000 a month in that building, but your overhead is only about $2,000. So now you profiting about $5,000 to $10,000 a month in that building. Time to push it to another location. You know what I'm saying? A whole nother level. You did what I'm saying? So boom. So you like, oh yeah, I got this. So then, like I said, you focused. You are very, very focused. You already know what you're supposed to be doing. You got what I'm saying? You scale. You go somewhere else. Look, music studios, they play a very, very major, effective role in the local music scene. So if you open a studio, then what you're going to do is you're going to create a space where artists connect, producers connect, different individuals who have talent, they collaborate and they grow. So you're not building a business. You're contributing to the culture of the community. You're giving younger artists who sometimes they just return to the streets. You're giving them access by supporting them with that studio environment. I'm telling you, studio changed my life. Me and my brother, we got 3 right now. 1 month you can make 8,000. 1 month you can make 12,000. You know, if you got an artist that come down and they lay something in your studio, then I'm just saying, come on, man, get it together, add it up, put 2 and 2 together. You got what I'm saying? Life changing decisions. You feel what I'm saying? And then if you take it to a whole nother level, how you supposed to take it to, then guess what? You can offer mentorship. You can do internships. You can do workshops. You can help other individuals start to do what you do. So basically you're doing outreach. You're building goodwill. You basically strengthening your brand. Come on, man. Come on, man. And if you really love music, I don't know if you really love music, but if you really love music, then you need to let your passion meet that profession. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, they just have all these dreams, right? And they dream of kind of, I don't know, turning their passion into a job. You know what I'm saying? But look, if you got a studio, your dream is reality. You know what I'm saying? It's a dream that's real. It's doable. Especially if you love music, if you love sound, if you like storytelling. I'm telling you, there's no feeling of waking up every day doing something that you really like. You know what I'm saying? Being creative. You know what I'm saying? Constantly having to learn, though. You know what I'm saying? But helping other people bring the vision that they have in their mind to life. Because look, you remember back in the day, you take some notebook paper before they had iPads and Blackberries and all this technology. You take pieces of paper, pencil, you writing rhymes on project floors or writing rhymes on the table, right? And then you take that stuff that you thought of in your mind And then you lay a track with something that you just was thinking in your mind. You know how amazing that is? That's crazy to me. You was thinking it in your mind. You wrote it down on a piece of paper, and now you in front of a microphone laying vocals. That's crazy to me. You took an idea and then made it into reality. Most people can't do that. You got to understand that. It's nothing but, it's a full-time grind. So if you really love music, I'm telling you, I advise you to start a studio. There's a lot of long nights. You know, a lot of times you got to know customer service because you're going to meet a lot of demanding clients. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it just is what it is. You also going to have a lot of tech problems. You know what I'm saying? Look, everything will be right. Look, I'm in the studio. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. Everything. My speakers are working. This I got a couple different audio interfaces, right? The soundboard that you see behind me is a Allen and Heath Q32, and I might cover this Q32 in another video about all the things that I do with it or whatever, you know, from voiceover to, you know, radio station to other different components, you know, that I run through. But you got everything set up. You did the proper test. And technology becomes technology. That means you just encounter a problem. The speaker that has been working for 30 days all of a sudden ain't working. And you gotta try to find out why it's not working. You got what I'm saying? Oh, it's just or you know, your XLR cable, you know what I mean? It's been working all this time. You ain't never had no problems. And then all of a sudden, it's messed up. It's like, what in the world? Why is this happening, man? Why is this happening to me? You feel what I'm saying? So that type of stuff happens all the time. Tech problems. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you understand your signal flow, then you good to go. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if you're a driven individual, if you're resourceful, if you are committed, if you're dedicated to quality, I promise you that the reward outweigh the risk. You got what I'm saying? Because it's nothing like hitting that play button and hearing something awesome. You feel what I'm saying? Make you be like, oh, man, this is it right here. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just got on. I probably took up a whole long time. You know what I'm saying? Just telling you, look, man, start a studio. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a okay idea. It's one of the coolest ideas on the planet. It's smart. It's strategic. You can do this. You know what I'm saying? If you really love music, I promise you, you can do this, man, because it opens the door to a lot of different opportunities. So whether you're aiming to build a business, grow a brand, support your own community, it don't matter what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get creative control and just control over your life, I completely support you starting a studio. You feel what I'm saying? So make that happen, especially if you're passionate about music. I love music. I'm willing to always support music and be in music if I was getting no money for it. You feel what I'm saying? Getting no money for it. So it's nothing to get money for it. Become a business owner and own an actual studio, because I'm telling you, if you do it, it just might be the best decision that you ever make. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I have not been consistently dropping videos on this channel, but I'm thinking about changing that. I'm thinking about changing the narrative. You feel what I'm saying? And starting to drop consistently, because to succeed on YouTube, you have to drop consistently. I have another channel that has 30,200 subscribers. And the only thing I did was drop a video every 2 days. You got me? So Me dropping a video every 2 days on this channel, not this channel, but on that channel, gained me 30,200 subscribers so far. And I wasn't even consistent. I'm just playing around with it. So on the Studio Life 10X channel, I haven't really been dropping a lot of videos, but I'm telling you, the key to growing on YouTube is having added value. And what I mean by that is understanding what your core audience or your target demographic wants, and then consistently assisting them with giving them or providing them what they want. And that is called added value. So as long as you're adding value to their life, you will grow. So you have to find out your niche on how you can add value to someone else's life. And once you do that, boom, you got it. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, this is what I thought, but I'm just saying, man, this is Studio Life 10X.